What's going on, guys? rBangs here. What's the most badass thing you've accidentally said in the heat of the moment? At work, project management undercut and mismanaged a project so badly, they pushed getting minimal viable product out with the goal to roll out improvements later. Product released, they all patted themselves on the back and moved on. Then that minimum viable product broke. In a meeting we had with our directors about how it's so broken and the cost to fix it, etc., no cost too big, unlimited manpower, etc., I asked, how come we couldn't afford to do it right, but we can afford to do it twice? Oh, that was witty. I like that. I'll never forget the moment a family walked into the local pub I was working at while I was working. This big king of the grill, bald alpha patriarch dad type and his wife and kids came through. I said, welcome, where would you like to sit? And he snapped back, well, a table would be nice. And without missing a beat at all, I replied, actually, we usually sit on the chairs here. I'll never forget the satisfaction of the moment or the look on his face. You are the alpha dad now. My uncles were bitching about my dad, so I walked into the conversation and told them it wasn't polite to talk about people behind their backs. My uncle turned to me and said I shouldn't interrupt when the men are speaking, and completely out of character, I replied, I don't see any men in here. Boy, did I get some shit that day. That's how I knew I won that exchange. Yeah, see, like, there's so many guys where if he says some shit like that, that would just, that's like the equivalent of castrating him. That was a pretty good one. I worked in cell phone sales for a few years, and a woman came in with a fairly new flip phone. This was 2018, we just still sold them. She was complaining because one of the sides of the screen was dangling off, and she says she didn't do anything, it just snapped, and demands a new phone. I told her, that looks like physical damage, and we don't have any coverage for that since she didn't buy a phone protection warranty. She insisted it wasn't physical damage, and the phone just sucks and broke itself. She started freaking out and calling me all kinds of names and swinging her phone in my face, and then the top of half the phone literally snapped off and landed on the counter in front of me. I just looked her in the eyes and said, well, that was definitely physical damage. She lost her shit at my comment, and it was weirdly satisfying. I mean, you're not wrong, and on top of that, I'm pretty sure you got, camera evidence, so there's no denying it. I didn't realize the nature of my comment when I wrote it, but in high school, one of my teachers did end of the year anonymous evaluations. Everyone hated them, and I understood why, but I still did well in class. I wrote, I don't have any critiques about your teaching, but I think you should work on being a better person. Oh my gosh, you just went straight for their soul, dude. Dude, how old were you? That line would have definitely destroyed me if I had been your teacher. Yeah, I mean, I would have probably thought about that at night if somebody said that to me. Working retail, Akira once told me she hoped I'd die. I was so into work mode that I blankly responded, I mean, we all die. That's not much of a threat. Yo, that's one thing that a lot of people forget about. Like, some people forget that, I mean, we all have an expiration date, and even if you do everything right under the sun, you're constantly in a process of just slowly dying. Like, a lot of people can't even they can't wrap their minds around it. Like, every single day you are slowly dying and slowly getting closer to that expiration date. And it's just a matter of time, so just live it up while you can. Maybe it was my lack of intimidation or blank stare, but that really shut her up. Yeah, that'd do it. Maybe you reminded her of her own mortality. Sometimes it can make you stop and wonder if what you're doing is really worth it. Yeah, that could be a quick reality check really quick. Forensic biology professor brings out a fresh human brain as a surprise to his STEM class. You have no idea what I had to go through to get this. The skull. Sometimes it's just like the fucking one-liners that really get people. When I was 12, my older sister had a boy over for Thanksgiving dinner. She dated lots of douches, but this guy took the cake. Big, brash, annoying dickhead who was rude to her and basically everyone. As we sat down for dinner, before we were about to say what we were thankful for, he says, looks like I'm seated at the head of the table, must be important, with a huge shit-eating grin. Without pausing, I gestured to my dad seated opposite him and said, "Actually, my dad is at the head of the table. You're the asshole." Oh, that was a nice one. My mom scolded me for swearing at the table, but years later told me her and my dad thought it was hilarious. Yeah, that probably got brownie points with your parents. Oh god, I wonder what your sister... Why didn't your sister say anything like, "Oh, that's fucked"? She should have said something, like, "Oh, that dude's a fuck." I was around 17 or 18 getting my first filling at the dentist. They pumped me up with nitrous oxide for pain and to help me relax during the procedure. Dentist came back and asked me, "How are you feeling?" All I said was, "I don't," and he lost his shit and cracked up. And he lost his shit and cracked up for what seemed like 20 minutes before he could pull himself together. I also started cracking up because of the laughing gas, and his laugh was infectious. Oh, I hate that, like, when people start laughing, and even you could be so... Like, you could be pissed off or sad or whatever, and sometimes you just want to stay that way just to get through it. And then some asshole just starts laughing, and you just can't help it. Like, I fucking hate that. So we were both just sitting there in the room laughing, and all his assistants came by and were very confused. I worked at Target back in college in a stocking job where we had to be there at like 4 to 5 a.m. to unload trucks. One morning, I overslept a bit and walked to the unpacking line about 10 minutes late eating a breakfast bar. Yeah, I can't miss breakfast. The boss stormed over and started loudly berating me in front of everyone for being late. As he was going on, I was listening and taking bites of the bar without much expression. That is so fucking disrespectful. Mainly because I was so damn tired. It finally bothered him that I was disrespectfully chewing during the yelling, and he stopped mid-sentence, held out his hand, and said, "Give me the damn thing!" It just happened that I only had one bite left, so I took it, handed him the rabbit, and said thanks. With a mouthful of food. He paused and started laughing at the ridiculous response to his bitching. We were buddies after that. Oh, that's a nice way to end it off.